Hello and welcome to a special broadcast Back to School. I'm Rishika Barua and we're coming to you live from the Sri Venkateshwar International School here in Dwarka in the national capital. Well, schools in Delhi have reopened for the 9th to 12th class students, 50% seating capacity, a whole host of COVID-19 rules and regulations in place. We'll get you all the details on what it's like to be back at school in the midst of the pandemic. Remember, a large section of students who are coming back to school are below the age of 18 and therefore unvaccinated. Are they scared? Are they worried, or are they just happy to finally be back in a physical classroom? We'll get you the sentiment of children. Remember, schools have been shut for over 1.5 years. 1.5 million schools in India closed down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Over 250 million students have been affected. Joining us on the broadcast will be my colleagues Alok Pandey from Lucknow, Ratnadeep from Meghalaya, Sam Daniel from Chennai and Sonakshi from a Delhi government school. We'll get you pan-India ground reports on what it's like to be back to school. But now I'm going to take you inside a classroom and we are going to talk to students on how they're feeling about being back at school. Hello, everybody. Okay, so I want to begin by asking you, you're back to school in perhaps one of the most unprecedented times. In the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic, you haven't got a vaccine yet. How are you feeling?
It's a little scary, but it's not like that we are going to get affected. Basically, we have a controlled environment in which we are operating and we are maintaining social distance. So the level of nervousness went down as we came to school. So day by day.
So, what's your name?
I am Aditya Chandra.
Aditya, you told me earlier when we were talking that you also had COVID. You're a COVID survivor yourself. How difficult was it for you, and how difficult generally has this pandemic been? You know, the second wave that we saw here in Delhi, how difficult has it been for you?
First of all, when you are affected, you are away from everyone. Then again, when you are affected by the infection, then you are again in a very isolated area, you are again isolated. And you cannot even contact your parents or even your siblings. So it's very, and there is no point of support when you are affected from the infection, that we are very lonely. We start feeling that we might not cure, and then the news, the saddening news of so many deaths. So it's a very hard, very difficult situation, and most of us don't recover from, physically we recover, but not mentally, because of the loneliness and the sadness that was around, especially during the second wave.
So it's been a difficult period of time for everybody, and of course for students as well. But let me just open this up for conversation. You're back to school now. How are you feeling?
Really good, actually. For me, like personally, I've been waiting to come to school for a long time, as I joined a new school in 11th. So I haven't met anybody much. So I was really excited.
Yeah. And is there fear of COVID? Do you at all feel scared, inhibited? What's it like to wear a mask for such a long duration?
First of all, mask is the most difficult thing to wear for 6 hours in school. Then the fear of COVID, yes, it is always there, because not we that we will get infected, but if our immunities are also strong, then our family members. Then the family members meet many people in offices, then them. So it is like we are the carrier and we spread it, like the movie in Jai Ho, there was help one and ask three to help. Now this is like same spreading COVID to one, then they spread to others.
Yeah.
And
so you are scared about COVID?
Yes, we are, but with precautions from ourselves also, and from school administration and faculty, it lowers it down.
Okay, and let's also get a sense when I say what's it like to be back to school in this new normal. What are some of, I see there's a cross mask on your desk. That's a new addition to the classroom. What are some of the new rules? What's the new normal coming back to school?
Social distancing, first off. We have to stay a bit away from our friends. It's not that close as it used to be like a pehle. But yeah, it's actually quite good only. We are safe, yet we are still getting the old feeling of being back at school.
And the old feeling of being back in school, what was online classes like? Was it fun?
Yeah, online classes are still fun, although not up to the mark of physical schooling, obviously. But if you do pay attention, then it's nice.
Okay. But, when it comes to the difference between online class and being back, let's see what students feel like. Can we get a poll? What do you guys prefer? Online classes or being back to school? Online classes. Put your hands up. Nobody. Everybody is happy to be back to school. Yes. Can I hear that louder? I didn't hear you. Yes. Okay, super. So tell me, what is it like, and how difficult has it been to study at home? I mean, I for one could never study at home. I always studied in school. What was it like for you?
Like in school, when we are in school, apart from the friendlier environment, there's a thriving environment also. If I see my friend that she's working hard, she's thriving, so it motivates me also. But in my home, like it's just me in front of a screen, even though I motivate myself that yes, I need to do, but there's a human psychology that when we see others see that they are doing so well, so it motivates us also.
So what's your name? Mehek. Are these chashmas a gift of the pandemic?
No, they're not the gift of the pandemic, but definitely my power has increased due to prolonged screen times. And apart from like co-curricular activities, if I want to engage myself in anything else, so co-curricular also, then also it is all online. So that adds to my screen time.
So there is a lot of enhanced screen time.
Social service too.
Yes, ma'am, I'm going to come to you in just a moment, but tell me something. Do you think studies have suffered? Because, you've been privileged to attend online classes, but 24% of our population has access to internet. Let's not forget that. There's a large section of people who've just fallen off the face of education. Do you ever think about just how lucky you are to have attended these online classes?
Yes, I'm so lucky. I feel privileged to have internet in my house, that to be like constant internet. But there are people people who live in villages, they don't have so much money to buy these internet connections.
Yeah.
The network is also not bad there. There are many people students who have dropped out because they are not privileged with this internet. Now that I am privileged, but I need to do this. You're
happy that you're privileged to be back in school. Well, let me also speak with the principal, Ms. Arora. Thanks very much for having us and allowing us to shoot. Namaste. What's it like, ma'am, to have your kids back?
I think it is one mercy of the God that we are not facing phase 3 of COVID. I hope it never comes to our city or town or world. People are safe, and education continuing for a larger section of children. As you said, the children who do not have access, and if they have offline classes, especially children who live next to school, I think it is very good, provided the school, the parents, the community, and the children themselves are safety conscious. Everybody goes for vaccination. Like in my school, children will only come to school if the adults in their families are vaccinated. And whenever the opportunity for children to get vaccinated come, we will definitely insist that they require to undergo this. Then all the teachers, staff, support staff, housekeeping staff, everybody is vaccinated. Otherwise,
so everybody in your school is double vaccinated, and is that a prerequisite for your staff to return?
Otherwise, you have to go on leave. So those who were kind of shy of getting themselves vaccinated or had a fear of vaccination, they overcame it and got themselves vaccinated to continue to work, and they're very lucky that the school education is continuing. Otherwise, there would have been,
So,
job
tell me from an administrative point of view, what are some of the steps that the school has taken to ensure, the safety of children as they return?
Even before the pandemic hit India, our children were told about all the sanitization needs, hand washing, sanitization, keeping distance, only doing namaste, no hugging, not even high five. Unfortunately, the games were suspended. That was the worst thing that happened for them. And then we started reaching out to the parents. And now for this coming to school, there are a lot of things that we have put into place. Thermal screening. More than the thermal screening, any child having been cold or fever is not allowed to come. If anybody in the family has fever, we requested them, please don't send your child, because the child may carry the virus for other children. When your immunity is low, COVID can attack you. So your immunity has to be higher. So we talked about good diet, exercise, rest, relaxation for these kids. And then in classes, there are sanitization, the surface cleaning of doors.
Those black crosses and sanitization.
And the number of children that could come in a class.
Okay.
When I'm not calling everybody together. This is very important for all the educationists who are listening to me. Please don't be in a hurry to call everybody. In my school, only one section per day.
You raised an important point earlier when we were talking about the fact that that you are apprehensive that schools are opening right at the onset of festival season in India?
Seriously, every time there is some festival or some congregation, the COVID cases rise. I'm not naming things, but it led to spread of wave 2.
So you are worried about
I
it?
am not going to call too many classes, too many children till Diwali, because Diwali, if people can exercise self-control,
Okay. Well, I think
then kids will be safe.
Well, I think that's a very important point. But when you're in school and in class, how can you not talk to the math teacher? So, Anuj sir is the vice principal of Venkateshwara International. You're also the math HOD. Have children forgotten everything, sir?
Well, I must say that no, children haven't forgotten, because online teaching has maintained continuum in learning. Though yes, there might be some learning gaps which as teachers we have tried to cover. Yes, at the same time, when physical classroom students are there, it's altogether a different experience. You know, sometimes we as teachers, as students sometimes say FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes.
So we have that kind of thing in us, will we miss something important?
Yes.
Because you know what happens when we are in students are in school, we are in school teaching on the board, using the board, smart classes and all. So as a maths teacher especially, it was very easy to call any student, do the question, have discussion, right? And
On Zoom, how many people raise their hand?
Oh, it is challenging. It is. Sometimes their mics are not working. Sometimes camera is not working. Network is low. Yes. Especially those who sometimes do not want to answer or reluctant to answer.
Did you miss your maths class?
No.
No, you didn't. Okay, so we have an honest response there. But thank you all very much. You've been a great audience, and all the very best to you as you're back to school. Schools, of course, have reopened in Delhi, and you know, with a whole host of COVID-19 rules, regulations, precautions that have been put in place. But what's it like in the rest of the country? Alok Pandey is joining us from Lucknow with this report. Alok, it's over to you.
Primary schools across Uttar Pradesh have opened up after a long gap due to the COVID pandemic. I think it's really exciting to see students inside actual physical classrooms, especially in UP's rural areas, because online learning and learning through television is really something that is a little difficult for those who come from poor backgrounds, and that is why these visuals are very heartening. These many students have turned up here in class 3 at this primary school on the outskirts of Lucknow to study. Many of them were very excited. You can see that the teacher also has started teaching them through a blackboard with these children actually sitting here, and that's something, like I said, that is very encouraging. I'm going to go and first try and speak to the teacher once and just get a sense from her. Ma'am, sorry, आपको डिस्टर्ब कर रहा हूँ. क्या नाम है आपका?
प्रेमा कुमारी.
प्रेमा जी, ये क्लास 3 है आपने बताया. प्रेमा जी बताइए, पहले भी मैंने आपसे पूछा ही अभी बात कर रहा था कि कितना ज़रूरी था कि बच्चे क्लासरूम में वापस आएँ.
बच्चों की पढ़ाई को लेके तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी था, बच्चे क्लासरूम में आए. घर पे रह के इतने प्रॉपर तरीके से इन लोगों की पढ़ाई नहीं हो पा रही थी जैसा कि स्कूल में होता है. बच्चों को हम काम देते हैं, सामने पढ़वाते हैं, फिर घर से करने को देते हैं, तो बच्चा टच में रहता है अपना, उनका ज़्यादा इफेक्ट पड़ता है. घर में रह के वो क्या कर रहे हैं क्या नहीं, कुछ पेरेंट्स ध्यान देते हैं, कुछ नहीं दे पाते हैं. गरीब परिवार से हैं, वो मेहनत मजदूरी कर रहे हैं कि बच्चों को पढ़ाई इतना वो नहीं रहते हैं. बच्चे
मोबाइल की भी थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है.
मोबाइल की प्रॉब्लम है, किसी में डाटा खत्म हो गया है और किसी में है भी तो काम पे लेके चले जा रहे हैं बच्चे. हमारे बच्चे काम नहीं कर पाते थे.
भाई मैं एक दो बच्चों से बात कर लूं. पहले आई जस्ट लुक एट दीज ऑल चिल्ड्रन एंड आई गो टू द वन ऑफ द पेरेंट्स हु इज हियर. मैम, आपका नाम क्या है?
नीलम जी.
नीलम जी, आपके कौन है इनमें से बच्चे?
मेरी लड़की है सारिका.
सारिका.
हाँ.
ये बताइए कि क्या आप खुश हैं कि क्लासेस वापस शुरू हो गई हैं?
हाँ, बहुत खुश हैं कि बच्चे फिर से दोबारा स्कूल आए हैं. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है बच्चों को आके.
क्या फायदा होगा आपको लगता है, आपकी बच्ची को क्या फायदा होगा स्कूल में क्लासरूम में बैठ के पढ़ाई करने
से? और स्कूल से बहुत अंतर है. कम से कम स्कूल में आते हैं तो अच्छे से पढ़ रहे हैं, लिख रहे हैं. घर पे है तो थोड़ा कम यानी कि पढ़ाई लिखाई कर पाते थे, ढंग से नहीं कर पाते थे.
अच्छा, आपके घर में मोबाइल फोन था सारिका जी? जिससे आप था?
हाँ.
तो उससे क्या बच्ची पढ़ पा रही?
काम करते थे, जो भेजा जाता था मैम भेजती थी, उससे काम करते थे. हाँ.
लेकिन क्या आपको लगता है क्लासरूम में आने का कोई ज्यादा फायदा?
हाँ, ज्यादा अच्छा है स्कूल से. हाँ, यहाँ सामने पढ़ते हैं और उस फोन से थोड़ा पढ़ते वो भी थे, लेकिन स्कूल से ज्यादा अच्छा है.
So it's great to have these kids back here. One does hope that the COVID pandemic will not increase further in terms of cases so that this learning can continue. With camera person Vineet Verma, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
All right, so that was a report from the Mohanlal Ganj Primary School in Lucknow, and teachers of course are very happy to have children back. Online education, especially in a lot of remote parts, hasn't really matched up to the standards of physical education. But what's it been like in the northeastern states? Ratnadeep is joining us from Meghalaya. Let's get you a ground report.
The big news from Northeast is that Meghalaya has opened up, and right at this moment we are coming to you from Barneyhat in Meghalaya, and we are coming to you from a school. This is the Moonlight English Secondary School, and here we are in a classroom where some of the students have actually come. You can see these are the students of class 10. They will be appearing for their board examinations next year, and therefore they will eager to come back to school, and finally they are back at their school. We'd like to speak to them. What's your name?
My name is Honda Shisha Panthe.
Okay. And back in school after how many months?
5 months.
5 months.
Yes.
It must be feeling you must be feeling very happy.
Yes.
You're back with the friends.
Yes.
Okay. So would like to talk with few other students. Come this side. What's your name?
My name is Sudeep Devnath.
Okay. A bit loud.
My name is Sudeep Devnath.
Okay, Sudeep. So after a long time you're back in school. How was like online classes, and how different is it for you guys as compared to the online classes and the offline class that starts from today?
We love offline classes because we can meet friends in school. We can talk, we can play, we can learn more in school, in life. I want to say this one.
Okay, you can learn more. These are students of class 10. They are going to appear board exams. Please come a bit closer. So you're sitting here in the class. You are also maintaining social distancing. Yes. There have been 2 waves of the pandemic already. And even in Meghalaya, COVID at one point of time had taken a lot of toll. So for youngsters, when school started reopening, did you talk to your parents? They were okay in terms of you coming back to schools?
Yes, they are saying to go, sending us school, and we have to distance each other.
Okay.
We have to wear masks.
Right. 2 phases of pandemic that we saw. Schools got closed twice. Yeah. There was a reopening again. For the second phase you had to close. Now that you are opening up once again, what are the preparations that you have taken to open up, and how important is this reopening for the teachers as well?
Okay. First of all, we are very happy that school has been reopened. We would like to thank the government, because of the last 2 years due to this pandemic the school was closed. It was affecting our students mentally also and physically also. So now we are happy that government is allowed school to reopen after 5-6 months. As per our preparation is concerned, we are we used to sanitize our students every day, and also we are monitoring their temperature with this infrared thermometer.
Meghalaya has reopened its schools from class 9 to 12 in the urban areas, and even from class 6 the rural area students also can attend schools. So in this way the schools have reopened and the students are back in the schools. In Barneyhat, Ratnadeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
All right, so that's a report from Barneyhat in Meghalaya. It is extremely important for schools to reopen, for education to come back on track. There's a huge learning backlog, especially in the rural areas of the country. From Meghalaya, let's now crisscross to Tamil Nadu. Sam Daniel is live with us from Chennai, and this is what it's like as schools reopen there.
Schools across Tamil Nadu have resumed after 18 months for classes from 9 to 12. We come to you from the Everwin Matriculation Higher Secondary School at Kolattur, where we have a group of students and teachers to speak to. In fact, the government has put in place a set of new guidelines and SOP to ensure that there will be only 50% of students at any point in time on campuses. There should be physical distancing at every point, and they should also ensure that there is no crowding at any points in place. Thank you all very much for your time. How does it feel to be back to school?
I feel very
very happy to come to school, and even my parents feel safe to send us to school as my parents and teachers were vaccinated, and I feel very happy about that we have a live interaction with my teachers and with my friends.
When you came in, did you all remove your mask to see each other?
No, sir.
All right. Tell me, how was the experience of virtual learning over the last 18 months?
So always the offline classes is best because we used to interact with the friends and teachers, but in online we can't able to do, and we didn't take up the public exam past 2 years, so we hope we'll take up this year. So our teachers were motivating to take up.
Are you happy about that? No exams?
Yeah, yes sir.
We also have Mr. Purushothaman, principal and correspondent of the school. So thank you very much. Physical distancing, particularly when they have lunch breaks, intervals, that could be a major concern. How are you addressing safety-wise?
Comprehensive circular has been issued to parents about the do's and don'ts associated with these safety protocols, which they have understood clearly. So right from dropping the children to taking them back, all these safety protocols are fully followed, sir.
How are you addressing concerns of parents who lost jobs, who are unable to pay fees because of salary cuts?
Case to case, we are addressing that. If in our campus alone, 300 parents, mother or father, they lost their lives. So for them, 50% slashing their discount. And already government has mandated to reduce 25%. So further, this is not Chennai. So many parents lost their jobs, they lost income. While commitments remain the same all along. So we have understood each case. I am meeting parents every day and addressing their concerns on economics.
Thank you all so much for your time. Students and teachers talking to us as schools reopen across Tamil Nadu after 18 months. In Chennai at the Everwin Matriculation High Secondary School with Suresh, Sam Daniel, NDTV.
All right, well, we are back to school and we're trying to get you a sense of what children, teachers, principals, administrators are feeling. It is a challenging time to be back to school. Our continuous coverage will be back on the other side of what's going to be a very, very short break. Stay with us. You're watching our special broadcast, Back to School. I want to end by asking students, what is the message that they'd like to send out to India today as schools reopen in a staggered manner? What do you want to say to people across the country as you're allowed back into school?
I would like to say is that this virus is a paradox, so precaution, prevention is definitely better than cure, especially when there is no cure of this virus. So stay safe, keep the hope and don't lose faith.
Okay, stay safe, keep the hope, don't lose faith. The schools have reopened and closed down before. What's the message you want to send out to other kids across the country today?
Keeping three things in mind: yourself, your teachers and your parents. So when you come to school, you need to keep yourself safe, keep your teachers safe and your parents, and the parents will meet others. So this is a chain. Like earlier I also said that we need to break this chain, and for that we all need to be self-responsible enough.
Nobody so far has spoken about getting vaccinated. Are you waiting to get vaccinated? No vaccine yet for kids in India?
Of course, we are waiting for vaccination because as soon as we are vaccinated, we would want to come to school again.
Okay, so kids want to get vaccinated, ma'am. Staying safe, breaking the chain of transmission. I think those are wise words from your students.
And lastly, to everybody in this world or anybody who's watching, please be compassionate. Happiness belongs to the society and the society belongs to you. You make the society.
Okay.
So you'll be happy if people around you are happy and safe.
All right. Well, no one is safe until everyone is safe as schools reopen. It's mixed emotions. Students are happy to be back. But at the same time, as you've heard from a lot of these students, they are very conscious of the fact that they are returning to school in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Back to school is going to be a big focus story for us here on NDTV. We thoroughly enjoyed bringing you this broadcast from the length and breadth of India. We sincerely hope you enjoyed watching us too. Thanks so much for joining us.
Keep smiling, next day.